So Jordan, welcome to LetsDoHumans podcast.
Thank you, partner. Thank you.
How's it going?
Pleasure. It's going good. It's going good. I do this thing where, depending on the day it is, I use the first letter. I say that's how I'm feeling.
Oh, for real?
So I'm feeling stupendous. It's a Sunday.
For the Sunday. So what do you say for a Monday then?
Marvelous.
Marvelous. Tuesday?
Shit. Tremendous. You caught me off guard there.
Catch you off guard.
Yeah.
I mean, before we started recording, you just made a reference to BJJ.
Yes.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's one of the. Well, it's not the only reason why I got you on the podcast, but when I was going through your socials, I realized that you've been training martial arts for a bit. Tell me a bit about that. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll jump straight into it. So, before, most people know me as a European triple jumper. So that's what I used to do. I used to jump into sand for a living.
No way.
Hop, step, jump on my poor 6-year-old knees. And then as time progressed, I started my own business, StudyFast. And
we're going to get into that definitely. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. And then with time, what I realized was whilst I was working, I'd be like, I've got to go training. Yeah. And I started seeing training as a hindrance. Yeah. As opposed to enjoying it. Mm-hmm. And there was a few things, during that transition was, whilst I was doing martial arts in the background, karate has always been in my childhood. Okay. So
karate came before the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, karate, stand-up game. And what I realised was the return on investment with my business meant, of course, I could live the lifestyle I wanted. Yeah. With martial arts, it meant I could protect myself in the real world. Yeah. And when I got to European level of triple jump, I know it sounds really bad, but it wasn't what I expected. Okay. In the sense that...
Wasn't it not as glorified as other sports? So what was it about it that you weren't expecting?
Well, there's no money in athletics. Yeah. They say that you have to be the top 5% to get money in athletics. And I knew that. And I never started it for that reason. Oh, okay. But what I realized was how valuable my time was.
Amazing, definitely.
And as I saw, the more time I dedicated to the business, the more financial freedom I had, the more time I dedicated to my martial arts. I mean,
so the return on investment was definitely
was key, and triple jump no longer held a high priority in my life, and I think that's really quite tricky for some people because they fall in love with the identity of I'm a triple jumper or I'm a martial artist, and as soon as you get an injury or you lose passion for it, that transition can be tricky.
I completely understand.
I was blessed enough where I had multiple identities.
Yeah, sick.
It's not like I have schizophrenia, but I don't. Just gonna put that one out there.
Slightly, though. Do you know what I mean? We all got like various forms of identities and personalities based on what our setting is and what it is that we're doing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But one of the reasons why I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, it to me personally, it humbles me. It's a sport that keeps me grounded and well humbled, because I was speaking about this a while back on my Snapchat. Actually, I went into like a storytelling mode, and I don't hardly go into storytelling modes on any of my socials. Yeah. So this was like one of my one-offs. I came back from a training session where I got completely battered. It was just one of those bad days. You have them. It's like it's people that you.
I mean, I don't. It's right.
You're bad man. You got this in there.
I'm not telling you the right
getting everyone tapping out. But it was just one of those weird days for me where it was people that I knew I could have, and I've been having them for ages. I've been able to beat them in sparring like with ease, but I was just having one of those terrible days, and I realized that I was still okay with it. And afterwards we were still hugging it out, we were still buddies, we were still chilling, bantering, talking, joking, and absolutely was fine with it. Yeah. So on my journey back I thought, wait, there's something that Jiu-Jitsu gives me that I've never really explored, and that's that sense of humility, because you go into an environment where you're not always the winner, you're not always the biggest and baddest in the room. Do you know what I mean? But you're still having to then humble yourself afterwards to be able to relate to those individuals and have a relationship outside of the martial arts setting. You know what I mean? So humility is like a big key for me. It keeps you grounded. It also keeps you strong, and you're able to then defend yourself in the real world, as you said. So that's one of the things I take from it, and that's why I absolutely love martial arts. Yeah.
And to kind of follow on what you were saying about being humble is my first ever session. I trained with this really hardcore group down in Exeter, a bunch of white guys, bald, tattoos. I didn't fit in, and they didn't take it easy on me. And I remember, like, I tapped out for the first time.
As soon as he touched you, you tapped out. What did you have?
that discomfort.
It's like us. I'm out.
And when he touched me and I tapped out, you're admitting that if this was a real fight, you would have killed me. That really crossed my mind is when you tap out on someone, you say to them that if this was real life, you would have killed me.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is they release, you bump hands, and you go again.
Yeah.
And that concept, you have to leave your ego at the door.
100%.
Or else you are going to get injured.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of the injuries come from, I'm a white belt still myself, but, you know, from naive, aggressive, strong white belts is because we talk about identity. Yeah. You know, we talk about manhood. Yeah. And you have this complex. What keeps us alive. Ego,
100%.
Ego is good.
100%.
But BJJ, and the final point on this for me is, I realized how ineffective I was before I did martial arts. Yeah. You know, I think, and maybe a lot of the viewers watching and listening who don't do martial arts, I would argue are so much less effective than what they think they are. Until you are in a simulation, because that's what it is. It's a simulation. You realize, wow, I'm not as effective as I thought.
Most definitely, and it's actually important. It's actually important what you're touching on right now, because I was recently watching a talk by Akala, and he was talking about how schools should implement martial arts into his curriculum.
Interesting.
Like, it's a way of teaching kids discipline and teaching them that form of humility, as we just discussed as well. So it's super vital, because it's helping us as adults. So what would the impact be if we were taught this from a younger age, and we're then able to then have that collaboration with our colleagues, our peers, and like society in general? So it's just a wonderful thing. But I know we kind of digressed, and we haven't actually introduced you as an individual. Like, who are you? You're just sitting there on the sofa. But funny enough, well, most of my viewers who know that I usually record in my own place. But Jordan was wonderful enough to host me his place. So he made me trek all the way from Essex to the other side of the river.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a trek, but I enjoyed the journey. It was a lovely day out as well. So who's Jordan Harry? Can you tell us a bit about who you are as an individual, so the viewers get a better glimpse of?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy. So my name is Jordan Harry, and I teach people how to read faster and remember more. To put it simply, I'm a speed reading and memory coach, and I run my own business called StudyFast. We've taught over, I think, about 15,000 people now, online and offline, from 147 different countries, which is incredible. I think someone told me there's about 190 countries. So, you know, to think that we've touched someone in every country in the world blows my mind.
That's amazing.
And it all started because I had a speech impediment. You wouldn't think so, because I speak so posh now. But being a mama's boy, she trained that out of me. And because I had the speech impediment, that affected my ability to stand up on stage. So, you know, teaching people was out of the question. My reading speed suffered. Because I can pronounce the words, so I'm learning Spanish at the moment, and anyone who's learning a new language realizes if you can't pronounce the word correctly, you don't know what it means. And you have to slow down. And so my reading speed suffered. So whilst I was at uni, actually before that, if you don't mind me sharing.
No, go, definitely.
I moved from Essex. I'm an Essex boy by heart.
Oh, you're Essex boy?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm in East London. I moved to Essex. So,
gotcha. The posh parts of Chigwell.
Oh, okay.
If there are any posh parts in Essex. And we moved to Norfolk, old people and dogs, and me. And so I went from being part of the majority, you know, being one of the lightest kids in my class, to being the darkest kid in the county.
No way.
In Norfolk. Yeah, for real. And, you know, I wasn't a naughty kid. I was a cheeky kid. And I think one day we kicked a ball up against a window, didn't smash. I was with a group of guys, sat in class, teacher calls me out, and I've got a chip on my shoulder. I think this teacher's out to get me, you know. Old white dude, it puts it into context. And he said, before he could even speak, I kind of blew off on him. I was like, why always me? Like Mario Balotelli.
Where
is he actually? Where is Mario Balotelli right now?
I don't know where he's stuck at the moment. He was in Italy for a while, but I don't know where he's going now. Yeah,
we digress. He's still alive. He's still with us. And I said, why always me? He taught me a very valuable lesson. He said, Jordan, you stand out. I knew what he meant by that. He didn't have to say why. He said, you have to remember you need to stand up for the right reasons. And that really hit home for me, because here I am, this image of this racist old teacher who's got it out for me, along with the rest of the school. And I was trying to be like a cool young black guy, you know, coming from Essex. So speaking white, quote unquote, wasn't cool. You know, putting yourself in education and giving your all wasn't a cool thing to do. But I thought to myself, okay, I'm a cool kid. What if I show people dressing well, speaking well, and learning was a cool thing?
So changing the narrative on what cool is, pretty sick,
And that kind of then begun where I am today, you know, kind of cascade of events, going to uni, understanding how people work. I didn't have a broken brain or anything. Yeah. And I wasn't in the gifted and talented classes. But I enjoyed education.
But in terms of the speech impediment, how did you deal with that initially at a young age?
Mum dragged me to speech therapy. Yeah, there's no pretty story behind that.
Okay, yeah.
Mum forced me out. Oh, massive. Because once I could articulate myself, then I was able to speak more confidently in public. I didn't have the fear of reading, and then once I thought, okay, let me change the narrative. No one's going to pick on me, thankfully, because of my size, because of my background. No one bullied me. So if I was putting my hand up first, no one was like, what, loser?
Put your hand down,
Everyone was like, yo, Jordan's doing it. We should
100%.
And I'm trying to still do that, with my business.
Yeah, representation is key because I explained this in one of my previous podcasts as well, because that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I'm trying to put like creative and informative educational content out there, but being me and looking like who I am, I'm able to then appeal to maybe like the younger version of myself who didn't have access to this type of information.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but going back to the reading side of things, so I have a weird relationship with reading. Like, I didn't really start reading properly till a late age.
Okay.
Like, I was probably like in my late teens, hitting 20s. So after reading Of Mice and Men in school, which you were forced into reading.
What a book!
Is it Larry and Henry and all the rest of the crew? But you're forced into reading that. And in school, you're forced into like standing up and reading and not being confident to read. You're always kind of shying away from your name being called out. But my first experience of ever completing a book outside of secondary school, I was probably like 19, 20, to be honest with you. Yeah, not many people know this story.
I reckon you're not alone. I reckon there's not many people
that've completed a book who have from start to finish.
Completed a book.
100%. And it's funny because the individual who actually got me into reading, she doesn't know that she got me into reading inadvertently. So as a young kid, teenager, I used to work in Marks and Spencer's. It was probably like one of my first ever jobs. And one of my colleagues actually, her name is Francesca. She's going to be thinking, oh wow, it all makes sense now. So she used to read these books by an author called Eric Jordan Dickey. So he's an erotic writer. He's a black erotic book writer. So I've never been interested in books because
Don't tell me you started with this book.
I'm gonna tell you the story.
As your first book.
It's crazy.
I'm not judging you, but
because there was never anything that at a young age and someone who's not really interested in reading anyway, and I used to find trouble reading anyway because when I opened books, everything was blurry. So it could have been slightly dyslexia, whatever it was. Everything was slightly blurry, and there was nothing that was gripping me to want to finish the story in the first place.
Of course.
Or no one was forcing me. I wasn't accountable to anyone to finish this book. But she was telling me about these books, and I went out there and sourced one myself. I thought, okay, I'm a young boy. This sounds a bit interesting. And I started reading it, and the story dragged me. You can imagine why it dragged me, being a young boy reading that type of content.
That would still drag me right now.
100%.
that would blow my mind.
100%. So I was like, wait, hold on. If I'm able to complete a book because I found it interesting, why don't I find content which I like? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It will enable me to then read more, and it will enable to probably help me with my speech, because I was an East London boy at that time. I had really like broken English, spoken highly in slang, and I struggled with certain words, understanding them and pronouncing them. So I then started sourcing out things that I was interested in, i.e. business books, self-help books, books in relations to people that I was interested in. And I realized that, okay, I'm now able to finish books because I'm interested in the content in the book and the individuals who are in the book. And that's how I got into reading myself. So it's super interesting as to like how people like find ways of engaging with content and books in particular. So yeah, that's pretty sick.
I think that's a really key point as well. You know, you talk about motivation, and I want to make this disclaimer in the sense it's ironic. I'm a speed reading coach, but I say some people just don't enjoy reading. So why would I force a professional, a student, a teacher to read when they don't enjoy it? Audiobooks is another great way to consume information, and you can put it on times 1.5. You know, get your brain used to taking in information faster. But reading, some people just flat out don't enjoy it.
So the thing is, I mean, me personally, one of the reasons why the part of my reading that I don't really enjoy is that I find it time consuming, and this comes back to why I find your business quite interesting. I want you to elaborate more on it. So when I pick up a book, I struggle to get through it fast enough. I feel like it becomes time consuming. So I might schedule maybe half an hour reading time a week or a day or whatever. But in that time, I'm not able to take in much of that book. But I think one of the slogans on your socials is that a book a day. So how does one take in a book a day?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we look at people's lifestyles, not everyone's lifestyle permits to reading a book a day. You know, so in my TED Talk, I talk about getting...
Which is amazing, by the way. So make sure people
man.
check out your TED Talk. It's more than 1 million views, and that's how I came across your content. I was
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
That blows my mind, because there was only, 10 people in that room?
Yeah.
You know, there's a dumb camera angle. I don't know why they did it, but they put a camera on the board that had my slides on. So it was shooting behind my back.
No way.
I don't know why they want to show the audience, because there was 10 people in the audience.
I'm always under the assumption that there's a whole bunch of people there, like you're speaking to half the world.
I know.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, 3 of them were the event organizers. 1 was my ex at the time. 1 was my videographer. So there was 5 people in that room.
No way.
But I said to myself, let me imagine there's 5,000.
Yeah.
These 5 people don't deserve any less value. And to come back to, you know, how do you read a book a day? It's that Pareto's law. Pareto's law is the 80-20 principle.
Yeah.
Economists will be familiar with this. It's the idea that 80% of the world's wealth is owned by 20% of the people. You know, you have to get your head around that.
Yeah.
And this law is seen through everything. With relationships, you know, 20% of your actions contribute to 80% of the results.
Not to cut you off, but it's interesting because I recorded a podcast was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, and the lady who I was speaking to, we were talking about relationships in relations to what I'm about to say, and there was a recent survey done by I think Tinder and a few other apps that said that 80% of women are after 20% of men.
Okay, 1 second, let me get my head around that.
So 80%
the majority of women are after the small, high quality guys.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing guys are way round.
Guys, we have no go for anything and anyone.
We have no standards.
No standards indeed, yeah. So it's interesting that the works in relations to so many different things. It's insane,
No, I can see that. I can see how.
Because guys, we're not even looking what we're swiping. For those that do swipe, whilst with girls, it's more like intently looked at.
There's I'm no relationship coach, but I've read about stuff like this, and it goes back to our primal instincts.
Yeah.
You know, hunters gatherers. You know, the stronger, the faster alpha males
100%,
protect. You know, and we won't digress now. But that's fascinating. You can see this 80-20 principle throughout life.
Yeah.
So how do you read a book a day? The idea is with speed reading, you can get through 20% of the book and get 80% of the value.
Oh, okay.
Because let's think about it as an author, and this is, you know, for non-fiction, and I really should have specified that during my TED Talk, you know, as well as it has done.
Well, so this only applies to non-fiction reading?
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to speed read a fiction book.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
because say we put on a film, you know, or whenever you watch a film, you set 2 hours aside to watch that film.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You never put the film on 2 times. You know, you sit down, you've blocked that time period, just like we have. And hopefully just like the viewers have.
Yeah.
So it's the same with speed reading. Is when you sit down to read a novel, you want to take your time. However, there will be periods where you need to get through something fast.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many new skills people want to learn, and there's just not enough time. So how can speed reading work for you? And it's the idea of an author can't put a book out and it only has 10 pages. Because let's be honest, a book probably only has 10 pages of value.
Yeah.
But they can't sell a book, you know, for 10 pages, unless you're like Warren Buffett or something like that. So the idea is they have to fill it up with anecdotal stories. They have to fill it up with waffle. So how do you pull out the key bits of information? And we won't get into it now, but reading...
No, I mean, you can go through it briefly.
Love that.
So at least people get an idea of how to process it.
That'd be brilliant.
So, that's
you know, because reading is a skill. There's different levels of reading, ranging from analytical reading, where you're reading in between the lines, to elementary reading, where you are literally just taking in the meaning of the words. You know, and that's what we all kind of start off.
Yeah.
But what you need to do to read faster is you need to break your habits.
Okay. So
because many of us haven't had a class called reading since the age of 10.
Yeah.
And I never have had a class called memory. Yeah, I believe education is a memory game. You know, you sit and test, you've got to regurgitate how much you remember. Of course, we can argue when you say an English one. So the habits that we look at is number 1, sub-vocalization, which is that little voice in your head that you use.
Yeah, so
when you read.
Yeah, when I'm reading, I'm actually reading it in my head as well. Yeah, so I'm reading out loud. I can hear myself reading. Yeah.
And most people either are aware to it and they think that's not a problem, or number 2, people aren't aware.
Yeah. So continue talking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, super. So whilst we're for this intermission, I'll take over the show for now. So subvocalization is that voice inside your head. So if we think about it, the average talking speed is 150 to 250 words per minute. So then when we look at the average reading speed, it's no surprise that the average reading speed is 250 words per minute.
So we're slowing ourselves down by subvocalizing. Yeah.
We can only read as fast as we can talk.
Oh,
if we're using that voice in our head, unless you're Tony Robbins, if you don't know who he is, check him out after this. Yeah. He's a motivational speaker. He speaks at 500 words per minute.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro is pretty similar as well. He's a political analyst. Yeah.
There you go. So we don't want to get rid of that voice completely because it does help us make sense of information. But you don't need to sound out the word because. You know what the word means. You don't need to sound it out. You should start to see the words and start off hearing them.
So what, you're consciously, just to clarify, so you're consciously ignoring certain words in order to speed up the process?
Good point.
How does...
Yeah, so you're not ignoring the word because, you're creating, how can I say, you're seeing the word instead of hearing it. There's a few things that you do, because all you gotta do is distract the brain. Low-level distraction. Number one is you can introduce a low-level distraction, like pressing the tip of your tongue to the top of your mouth whilst you read.
I see, yeah.
And it sounds
you're not forcing yourself to say the words now, I see.
Because what our brains struggle to do is do two things effectively at once. You know, ask any wives, they'll be able to agree. Right?
Especially men,
But in fact, there's studies, though, that do prove that women, there's no such thing as multitasking, but task switching, but women are better at doing two things at once, but you can't do both at 100%. One has to sacrifice.
Take a hit.
So what we're doing by pressing the tongue to the top of our mouth, such a low-level action. You don't have to think about doing that. You can just hold it there.
Is that doing the whole process whilst you're reading?
Yes, whilst you're reading. Or you can simply tap on your leg whilst you're reading, which is a great way to keep pace as well whilst you're reading. So it's these low-level distractions. Another one is listening to music without lyrics. If we get even more
just
detail.
Like instrumentals and stuff.
Instrumentals, and we've all probably heard...
specific type of instrumentals, because it could be like hardcore rap or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
That could be slightly distracting, or is it specific?
It's classical music. Because, once again, from my own feedback and studies, is if you know the song and it has lyrics, you'll want to sing along.
Yeah, definitely.
Whilst if it's classical music or orchestra, you can't sing along. And what's great is your brain has to focus more on what you're reading, so it doesn't get distracted by the noise. And I don't do meditation. I feel like everyone does it differently.
Neither do I.
I feel like, going training, that's my church, that's my meditation. And with music, it gets your body into the same state as meditation. Classical music. It's a certain wavelength that gets your body to an alpha state.
That's why they say that it's good to play classical music to children whilst they're still in the womb. So if mothers are carrying children, it helps with their I don't know, apparently it helps with the brain and
I've got no babies that I know of.
Yeah, neither do I. I've got no kids either, but it's just something I've heard. Like, it helps, so it could be something to do with the frequency. Yeah,
that would make sense for the baby to relax.
Yeah,
put it at ease. So that's number one, is that voice in your head. How do you get rid of it without, me actually speaking with that person and working with them individually? Quick little tip people can do right away is a low-level distraction. Music, tip of the tongue to your mouth, or tapping on your leg whilst you read. The voice won't go completely because, like I said, we need that sometimes to make sense. But we want to eliminate it, reduce it, because it's not useful for every single word.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And you talk about memory as well. So a lot of people always complain about their memories.
Of course.
So for me, for instance, I think I might have selective memory, but going through some of your content,
we all do. We all have selective memory.
Yeah, I mean, I have selective memory, and I don't want to say problems, because I know you're probably going to say there is no such thing as having problems with memory, which I would want you to say, but I do think I have problems remembering certain things. Yeah, especially my long term. So I might be consuming some content, and then by the end of it, 90% of it is gone, and I only remember the 10% which I stuck to at the time. So how do we deal with some of those things? Because I know that's what you deal with in your business as well.
Yeah, so a couple of things there. So number one is there's no such thing as a bad memory unless you've been diagnosed with some sort of brain damage. All of us, touch wood, are healthy. And so there's no such thing as a bad memory, just an untrained memory.
I see.
It's easy when you know how.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can't say you're a bad martial artist, but you've never trained.
Yeah.
You know, you can say you're bad martial artist. Yeah. You can say you're bad if you train.
Yeah.
So with the memory, that's number one. It's mindset. You know, we won't get too kind of hippie and guru, but you know, self-talk's powerful. We all know that. We know how powerful the brain is. So number one is you need to start telling yourself you have a good memory. But that's great, but you need to start seeing it. So step number two is how do you hold on to any information? Because you never forget anything you remember. I'll say that again.
Yeah.
You never forget anything you remember.
Okay.
You just never remembered it in the first place.
So anything you set your mind to and you stick to it as if you want to remember it for the long term, you will do. So is it the focus? Well, how do you break that?
Yeah, to put it simply, anything that you can recall 20 seconds after you've received the information or the stimuli, if you can recall it after 20 seconds, that's in your long-term memory.
Oh, okay.
Which blows my mind, right? Because, you know, before this, we were talking about your time at Brazil, talking about martial arts, talking about ages, you know. So I can remember your age, 32.
Yeah.
You know, if you ask me that, shit,
I got you
motherfucker. I love that. Yeah. So you see, something like that, for example, I thought I remembered it.
Yeah.
Right?
You're close enough, though.
And then afterwards, I recall it after 20 seconds. Did I forget it? No. What happened is I didn't retrieve it.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is, have you had a car crash?
Yeah.
Before?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking, do you remember when the car crash was?
Yeah.
Okay, who you were with?
By myself, yeah.
By yourself? Do you remember the date?
No, not the exact date, but I remember where I was going. I remember the whole thing. I remember most of the people around.
Yeah, what you were wearing.
What I was wearing as well.
Yeah. Which is crazy, but if I was to ask you what you had for lunch 4 days ago.
I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. 4 days ago.
I love that. I love that. And that, you know, I think that's for all of us, myself included. I'm a memory trainer, and we've just seen that I forgot your age. You know, I'm not immune to this. No one is. And if we don't use the strategies, we forget.
So that memory, is that tied down to there being an incident that was unforgettable, that was associated to it, or why do I remember that?
So that's the key. That's the question. Why do you remember certain things and you forget others? Because, like I said, you don't forget anything after 20 seconds. If you can recall it after 20 seconds, so if you told me age, 33, I can recall that now.
Yeah.
Right? There's another thing that's gone on there. That's called brute learning, where I thought something was true. And it's like, for example, do you know what the capital of Australia is?
Is it
It's not
Sydney.
It's now. This is the thing. I'm going to expose you. It's not Sydney.
Yeah. Was it Melbourne?
I feel like I crossed the street. No, it's not Melbourne.
What is it?
It's come. I feel like I need a visa. I need someone to help me now. Are we able to get the phone?
Yeah.
Check your phone. I think it's Cumbia.
Is it?
Cumbia. I apologise if I'm pronouncing it wrong. It starts with a C. I feel like it's Cumbia, but type in the capital of Australia.
You just completely.
And I promise you, everyone who's watching, you all think it's Sydney, Melbourne.
I thought it was Sydney. Yeah, definitely.
Now you won't forget this. And this is called the learning effect, because what happens is when we hold something to be true for so long, that we generally believe like this is the gospel, and then when we find out we've been disproven, it blows our minds. Okay. I don't know, have you got it up yet?
My phone is acting up, but it's
cool.
It's coming through.
Cool.
In a sec.
And you won't forget now the capital of Australia. Like I say, the pronunciation is a bit tricky.
Yeah. So capital.
But whilst you're searching for that, so we've got different types of long-term memory. So the reason why you remember a car accident.
No way.
What is it?
I've never even heard of it.
Canberra?
Yeah.
Canberra, there you go.
Canberra.
Yeah, never heard of the place.
Never heard of the place.
And I'm going to blow your mind even more. Australia doesn't exist. Now, this is only a theory.
I've heard that theory before. I'm going to go and
Google that real quick and see what comes up.
Is it South Korea or something? Or is it?
It's somewhere weird. It's a case of... There's a couple. Finland doesn't exist. Australia doesn't exist, apparently. And I know you're going to be like, but Jordan, there's an Australian government. Right?
So what should I type in? Australia doesn't exist?
Yeah, Australia doesn't exist. I don't know enough about it. I read it the other day. I don't say believe everything you read. But there's a lot of... with this
Australia doesn't exist and other bizarre geographical conspiracies.
Yeah.
Some people think Australia doesn't exist.
So this whole Area 51, you know, everyone's now getting up on their high horse trying to disprove things.
Area 51,
So Australia and some other countries now
don't exist.
Yeah. Found out they don't exist. Yeah. But yeah, Canberra is the capital of Australia.
That is crazy.
Exactly.
So it took me 33 years of my life to figure out that Sydney's not the capital. And I've got a couple of Australian mates as well that I've met through travelling. So that's completely blown my mind right now. Yeah.
And I promise you, now you tell other people, you won't forget that. Because this experience that you've been disproven is so powerful. So you won't forget.
What's the name for that again? Because it's quite interesting. So
it's called the learning effect.
Learning effect.
Learning effect.
It's interesting because now, I mean, knowing the type of person I am right now, I'm going to take that bit of information and like tie it in with a whole bunch of political theories.
There's
and
so many things.
And politics and so forth. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, the learning effect is powerful. It's where we hold something to be true.
Yeah.
Or it's, I'm sorry, on the general consensus, we believe it to be true. And then when we find out we've been disproven, it hits hard. It hits home. Yeah. And so, we come back to the car crash. Why do you remember that? But you don't remember what you had for lunch yesterday. There's emotion tied. There's different types of long-term memory. The three most common, semantic, which is cement. It's things that don't change. Like the capital Paris won't change. Capital Paris. Capital France. My gosh, my brain's all over the place today now. Capital France is Paris. We don't have to review that every week. And that answers your final question was, how can I improve my long-term memory? Yeah. You need to review it often over a period of time.
Okay.
I'll get into that in a moment. So semantic memories are cement. They're not going to change.
Yeah.
We don't have to revisit the capital of France. Yeah. We just know it. Unless you've been disproven by a guy on a couch. Yeah.
Everything out the window now.
I was going to say. Yeah. The other one is procedural memory. So procedural memory, we've all heard about the saying, it's like riding a bike. Yeah. You never forget. Yeah. Procedural memory is like a procedure. It's like juggling. You put your foot down on the pedal, you press the pressure down, you wait for the other pedal to come up, you push down. Yeah. So you don't have to remember how to ride a bike.
Repetitive process.
Yeah, just like martial arts. We can't actively recall how to do a certain position or how to do a certain submission on someone. But what happens is we know there's a step-by-step entry. Yeah.
We're constantly drilling as well, so when you're drilling in martial arts, it's like that repetitive side, so it sticks to it.
And then the final one is episodic, which is the car crash. That's the episode, and that's where you've got emotions attached to it. And if you want to go a little bit deeper on that one, there's these things called false memories.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So false memories.
I've probably created a few in my head.
I just did with your age, believe it or not, right? So our memories are never static. I don't know if you knew that our memories are never static. That if we don't review them over a period of time, we'll forget. So with your age, you told me you were 33.
Yeah.
I remember you, because I guess you were 30. And I remember I was spot on being in that range. And obviously I forgot it. So my brain populated something close to it.
Oh, okay.
So I generally thought that was the truth. And this is why in courts, they need to get people in as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Because when you put someone on the stand and they're giving their testimony, they're not lying. Even though they're two eyewitnesses to the car crash.
Yeah.
Their stories are different. Why? Because what our brains are incredible. They don't want us to forget. So they fill in the gaps with false memories. Yeah. So I thought you were 32. Yeah. And what that time period was only a couple minutes.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
But so there's something I want to obviously discuss further.
Yeah, of course.
Is the business now.
Yeah.
So you're a super young entrepreneur. You're doing great for yourself.
Thank you.
I want you to talk more about StudyFast UK. How did it come about? How did you birth the idea, and when was it set up, and what's the process been since? Yeah.
Nice. So I'm only 22 years of age. I know people won't know by the beard and the moustache. And the camera, of course, is throwing people off because his looks bigger. That's the thing. But
it's
I have something here. I do have something here, I promise.
He's getting there.
Thank you. We will start somewhere. 22 years of age, full grown beard, full grown moustache.
Yeah. Beard game is hella strong.
Yeah, you can say that, I can't say that. And I've been running my business legally for 2 years.
Amazing.
But been doing it for 4 years whilst at uni. And it started off just giving workshops. Then I realized I can't be in two places at once. Powerful thing with the internet. Why not record myself? Why not create animations? Put it onto a platform with a systematic structure for people to go through. And more importantly, as you all know, whenever you're selling a product, people want to see a transformation. When people are listening to your podcast, by the end of the podcast, they want to have learned something. I always say this with martial arts. I'm biased. I'll keep bringing it back.
Yeah.
The Jordan who entered the gym would have got beaten by the Jordan 2 hours ago.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I always say, you know, within that 2 hour session, I would have beaten the Jordan 2 hours ago. And that's what people want. They want a transformation. And how can I do that? Well, I was like, okay, how can we increase people's reading speed? But not just that, improve and maintain their memory. And that's when I went into the memory. And now I teach memory on how to learn the martial arts faster, which I'll show you some tips after this, or even on the podcast. How to learn a language faster, remember names, long digits, give a talk without a script. So my angle, because there's a lot of people teaching speed reading and memory training in America, more so.
Yeah.
So what makes me different? And we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, talking about what makes people stand out.
Yeah. You know, the fact that I am only 22 and I'm teaching 60-year-old professors,
which is sick, by the way, because I've watched some of your speeches online, and you're delivering talks in like Hong Kong to all these like high-end business personnels, and watching you do that was motivation to me as well. Because seeing a 22-year-old guy stand up on stage and deliver it to such high spectrum of individuals, is truly inspirational in itself. So,
and don't get me wrong, thank you, man. That means a lot, because I used to have imposter syndrome. People aren't familiar with imposter syndrome. Are you familiar?
No.
So imposter syndrome is the idea that, you know, if you're not watching, I've got a little circle in my hand. You know this much, and everyone else knows this much. I'm now doing a bigger circle.
Yeah.
So you think everyone knows more than you when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to martial arts. But what you need to realize is you only need to know a little bit more than your target audience, and you can get away with it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is for a little while, is you feel like an imposter. When I was standing up in front of teachers, I don't have a degree in teaching.
Yeah.
I don't know anywhere near about the eye as someone's got a PhD in neurological science.
Yeah. So you're in a vulnerable position, aren't you?
100%. Yeah. You know, whenever we are in a vulnerable position, this is our art form.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. My girlfriend, she's trying to start she's having a little thing at the moment, what business she wants to start. And I warned her, you're going to be criticized.
100%. Yeah.
And you have to think, we are artists. We put our art out there, and we have to expect that it's going to be critiqued.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's part of what we do. And so when I was starting out, all my friends were like, yeah, Jordan, you should do this. I was like, I can't. Because how I started was I just improved myself. I taught myself how to speak.
That gave you the initial story as well, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got that backstory as to how you got into it. Yeah.
And I had no intentions to start my own business, to teach other people how to do what I'd learned. I'm like, Jordan, you should do this. I was like, I can't. I'm like, why? I'm like, well, number one, I'm young. Number two, I don't have a great beard like Francis.
I'm going to start selling beard oils after this
episode. Number three, I don't look like any of the professors, the teachers. Not just in my skin tone, but how I talk, how I deliver it. I don't have the years of experience. I don't have 20 years and CBS and BBC clients all behind me. Like, but Jordan, that's why we want you to do it. And remember, these were students at the time, because we can connect with you.
Yeah.
And okay, I started teaching students, and that was great fun. £9 a workshop.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Per person, yeah.
Per person, of course. I'm not a dummy. But it was a lot of work. I was standing outside the library with printouts, giving them to girls to put into the toilets. I was hustling to sell £9 spots. In our first workshop, we had 50 people.
Oh, wow.
Maths isn't my strong suit, but that was a lot of money.
That's
as a first year student. It was 2 years of me talking, 2 hours of me talking rubbish. But people loved it.
How did you feel about that, though, initially, when you were stepping out, like, in your first ever session?
There's no roadmap.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. And people always ask me, what's it like running your own business? You seem so happy. And I bring it back every single day. I have full autonomy. It's a Sunday right now, about 4:30. We don't have to be doing this, me and you.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And for some people, working a 9 to 5 is awesome. You got stability. You can leave your work at work.
Yeah.
And you're not always accountable. If shit hits the fan, excuse my French,
or
my Spanish.
As much French as you want.
But if shit hits the fan, you can go home and you can rest your head to a degree, depending on your role. And you get another job. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
However, when you run your own business, there's two things that I love, and that's accountability
100%.
and autonomy. Autonomy meaning freedom. And accountability, some people, and even at times I hate, as you know, bro. The penny finishes and drops with us. It starts with us, it drops with us.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to move unless we do.
Yeah, if it's going to work, it's up to you. If it's not, then it's up to you how much you want to put into it.
100%. 100%. You know, there's no, like I said, there's no roadmap of you must deliver for 2 hours. You must stand at the front.
Yeah.
You must sit facing the camera.
Yeah.
You know, there's no roadmap to this. If we want to go freestyle, we can.
Yeah.
And then the other things that, like I said, the autonomy, the accountability, those two together, that's what attracted me.
Oh, sick. Sick.
And
but then the accountability can be scary though, because you're saying something that attracted you, but to other people it's something that they don't want to deal with. They don't want that level of smoke. Like
no,
it's like no,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's like if all fails, I'm going to be exposed. Like I'm vulnerable to not just myself but to the rest of the world. Like, you know what I mean? Am I really capable to deal with this level of accountability? So, but to other people, it's a form of motivation. To me, it's a form of motivation because I like having autonomy. I like being like the captain of my own shit. So
you got to do the accent when you do that, man.
What's that? Oh yeah,
I'm the captain of the shit.
I'm the captain of the shit.
There you go. There you go. I love that.
No, definitely. That's the thing. So it's not everyone that's able to deal with it. But how were you able to deal with it? Like, what was it that was innately in you that you think allowed you to be that individual?
It's an interesting point. So if I get the question right, what enabled me to feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Running my own business?
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't think I am. Let me be honest. No, I think
it's early days, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what made me feel comfortable was a very simple quote. Was it you can always make more money. And you know, if I type that speed reading, you can't make more time. Yeah. That's a little tagline. But what I realized was you can always make more money, but it's not about how much money you make. It's how you make your money.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, every day I have a choice. And we talk about, you know, accountability, autonomy. Many people who work a 9 to 5 don't have a choice of if they want to stay in bed. I have a choice. I can work from my phone.
Yeah.
And I can answer my LinkedIn messages and maybe try and get some synergy and networking through my inbox. Other people have to go to a physical location, travel 2 hours a day to work. Leave their family, say no to other events. And what I realized was part of my business, I want to do the least amount possible to get maximum results. 80-20, right? 80-20. Yeah. So what made me feel so comfortable was, number one, I have self-awareness of who I am.
You're constantly reviewing yourself.
Massively, man.
A lot recently, and it's helped me so much. Like honest reviewing of who I am, where I am in life, and
you have to
really putting it down. Yeah.
And that's what keeps me going. Is am I happy doing this?
Yeah.
Am I happy doing what I do? And if I don't, I stop. For example, after this, I've got a call with a young lady who we're gonna do a trip out in Spain.
Oh, sick.
Right. I've never done a retreat before. Yeah. I sat in my hotel room. I was bored. I was watching Pulp Fiction. Yeah. It's a long script if you haven't seen it before. And whilst I was in the hotel, I literally typed out an email and I was like, cool, 5-day retreat in Spain. Because I love Spain. And I was like, okay, what would have to go into that? Just started like brainstorming. Villas, cultural activities. Didn't list the cultural activities. Yeah. Cultural activities. Of course, workshops for myself. And I was like, okay, how much would that cost? And so I added up how much it would cost. I was like, okay, how much is my service on top of that? Yeah. To do a one-to-one. Okay, I could come out with about £900 profit for 5 days in Spain. Yeah. Sent the email out to 1,000 people. 3 people got back. I was like, incredible. One of them is looking like it's going to happen. And that all came from me just sitting in my room. Of course, as soon as those people started showing interest, I had to then reach out to relevant parties. But if anyone's hoping to create their own business or currently working on their own side hustle, one of my biggest advice, if I can give any advice, is don't build it until you've got people paying you for it.
What do you mean by don't build it though? Let's elaborate.
Okay, so
someone might assume that you're saying don't even start until you've got people paying for it.
Yeah. What I mean is start marketing it, start selling it, but don't have the product ready. Yeah.
Start selling the idea.
Yeah, start selling the idea. For example, a lot of people it happens every day, and some people might feel like they can relate to this, and it might cause a little bit of pain. Spend way too long working on their perfect website.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Haven't talked to anyone about their business idea, but it's all up here because I don't want anyone to steal it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry to give you the sad truth. There's not many people that can steal your business idea.
No, definitely.
2 reasons.
I've told a couple of my mates that as well recently. Yeah.
Yeah, and the 2 reasons I found was, 1, it's your business idea. You've got the passion, they don't. Number 2, believe it or not, people really aren't out there to look for business ideas.
Yeah.
People care about their own shit.
And even if you're putting ideas in their head, not a lot of people are actually going to implement it and make something
And
of
work
it.
on them.
Really
Oh, telling me.
No, so definitely, because I mean, as I was discussing with you earlier on in relations to this podcast, like the idea was out there, but I wasn't going to do it until a friend pressured me and kind of put it on me to make me do it. And then when I started doing it, and I really enjoyed it. When I started seeing fire and traction coming, that's when it then motivated me to continuously keep pushing it. So yeah, it's definitely good, because there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, I'm not going to talk about my business ideas with anyone. I'm not going to mention it because someone might steal it and potentially make money out of it. They have they don't have an abundance mindset as well, because they fear that if someone else starts their business, they're going to completely dominate the market and there's nothing left for them. Whilst the market is huge. Do you know what I mean? The limit is all in here.
Not wrong. And I really want to come on to that point, that abundance. But the first one, how do you go about selling something you don't have yet? Number 1, let's take a product. And unfortunately, we're distilling it to its very core. Say you want to start a clothing line. You do not have to create the clothes yet to sell them. What you can do is go to a thing called Kickstarter or a crowdfunding platform. And what you do is you create this gorgeous page. They've got the templates. You say to them, if you contribute £15 to my campaign, you'll be the first one to get the first 100 tops. Or we'll add your name to the t-shirt, right? If you donate £50, I'll sign one of the tops. We'll do a meet and greet for £100, right? So what you're going to start doing is you're going to get people pre-ordering your product. You haven't produced a single t-shirt yet. You can worry about that later on, trust me. People on these crowdfunding websites, my friend, he bought a wallet. It took 3 years till he got it. People who come to these sites aren't like the people on Amazon.
Yeah, they don't want it immediately.
Exactly.
It's like the instant sort of service.
Yeah. When you go to these crowdfunding sites, if you're honest, say, look, it's going to take us 3 years because we need to perfect the process. But because you've been an early adopter and you've trusted the process, you'll get one of the first ones.
I see.
You'll get assigned, da-da-da-da.
I see.
So that's one way, crowdfunding. The other way is to create a cool landing page, an email, social media, a little vote on Instagram. If I was to create a clothing line, how many of you would buy?
I see a lot of those posts nowadays.
You know, how much do you currently charge? And how much do you currently pay for your gym membership? You know, I pay £45. What if I told you you pay £5 more and you get access to every gym in London, or 300 different gyms? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Right, now you're onto a business idea. Now you start reaching out to different gyms.
Yeah.
Go a step further. Okay, you know, get early bird prices.
Yeah.
You know, and this is for a service company like my own, where I physically have to come and deliver it.
Yeah.
Or product one. If you pre-order, we'll get early bird, you get it at a discount rate.
This is a strategy that you've implemented yourself.
Still do to this day. And I try massively not to build anything until the market wants it. Because your friends and family will say, oh man, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
But your friends and family ain't your customers. You know?
Not, no.
I found out the hard way. You motherfuckers know who you are. I'm pointing to my Instagram live, by the way. Yeah, you better go to StudyFast.uk if you follow me on Instagram. But all jokes aside, I realized that early on, so I stopped trying to sell to my friends and family because they're not my customers. So you have to understand who you think your customers are. Aren't actually your customers. And your customers, when someone finds their credit card, types in their 16-digit card
those are your
number,
real customers,
their 3-digit security code, and takes money from their bank account that they've worked for, puts it into your account. They've never met you. They don't have the product. If we actually think about that concept, it blows my mind.
It really does. It really does. Yeah. That is.
So yeah, that's my advice for how can anyone get started and get paid without producing it.
Yeah, but so with your business, how at what stage did you know it was viable? And what stage did it become a complete business, something that you were doing full time? So did you have a job at this time whilst you was doing the seminars, or did you straight away go into business?
I'll be honest, I don't think I ever will be full time on StudyFast, as in that's my solo income. I think we're both like-minded. having a single source of income, and once again, my views are my views only. I don't want this to put down anyone. If you have one source of income, you're vulnerable.
Yeah, definitely in trouble in the current state. Yeah. Current market is very...
And we talk about, the market. Even we talk about accountability, even as my own business. When we leave the EU, right? I lost all my EU funding. So my business, my only source of income was predicated on EU giving me money to send English teachers, really weird concept, to another country and delivering it there. I was like, why can't I just deliver it in the UK? But the whole politics of it. As soon as Brexit got announced, that funding got cut. I had no income.
A lot of probably based on fear when nothing had really happened.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this doesn't appeal to people who've got jobs. This appeals to entrepreneurs who've only got one source of income. You are vulnerable to your customers. Not only that, but if your only source of income is from your business, what happens when your employees want to leave?
Yeah.
What happens when one of your employees dies? I know it's extreme. I know it's a bit extreme. But you can't have one source of income. So to answer your question, I don't think I'll ever be solo full-time on StudyFast. I have money coming in from speaking gigs. I have money coming in from consultancy. I do that as well. I help other training companies sell and package their training. I still don't know all the answers, but I'm just like your friend who helped you start the podcast.
Yeah.
He helped you shortcut that process.
100%.
And of course, I get money in from the online courses. I get money from corporate training, money from educational training, money from the retreat that I'm hoping to run now.
But everything that you set up, what helped you with that process? Like, did you have a mentor, or who were your inspirations, and how did that come about? Because I think some of the most interesting parts when it comes to speaking to entrepreneurs in general is like finding out their journey and the steps that they've taken to establish themselves or get to the stages that they're in. So you're super young, so you're 22.
Hey, I appreciate that, but it's younger people.
No, there's definitely younger people.
You know what I mean?
And in the current market where you can create a business with your phone and Instagram, there's kids out there with like 2 million followers making hundreds of grands a week or a month or posting stuff. So what was it for you? What was like your inspiration? And if it was a mentor that you had, how did they kind of guide you?
Number one, I'm a mama's boy. My mum was a little hustler herself. She used to travel to America when mobile phones weren't a thing in the UK. Bring them to the UK, sell them. So mum, she gave me permission. And, coming from a half African household, my dad's Nigerian, my mum's Dutch, English. And I constantly give school talks. And young black kids, I'm, Muslim kids as well, because I don't know much about the culture, but I understand it's just as strict at times. I think Asian families in general, can be
the cultures are quite similar.
Cultures, it's very similar. Asian and African cultures. When you say you want to start your own business,
and the fear kicks in.
Fear kicks in.
So how are you going to pay your bills if it doesn't work out?
And my advice to the young, I will just use this term, black kids, black just kind of encompassing ethnic minorities. I did my dissertation on, what does the word black mean? So I'm not going to get into that now. So when I'm talking to ethnic minorities, black kids, my advice is very transparent. It's like, look, I'm going to tell you right now to start on your side hustle. Difference is, and I'm going to tell you also, you don't need to go to uni. I went to uni, I graduated. In hindsight, meh.
Yeah, likewise.
It's not so easy to tell your Nigerian dad, hey dad, I'm going to start my business. I don't need to go to university to do that. That won't fly. So who am I to tell them that advice? So, you ask me, well, let me do that. My mum gave me permission to take that leap. Still does. If I'm short on cash, which occasionally still happens because I'm constantly investing.
100%.
She'll back me and I'll pay her back. She gives me permission. So you talk about why do I feel so comfortable?
I'm saying like getting that support from your family is amazing because it enables you to, it enables the creativity to blossom. I mean, I come from a household where like my parents, they want you to study, they want you to do your homework when you're in secondary school, they want you to hand in your work on time, they want to ensure that you're getting some academic level of education or whatever, but at the same time you're given the freedom to be creative and to explore and to sort of like fly the nest and learn externally, and that enables me to be creative. Because if there was restrictions within the home, then there would be restrictions in my ability as a human to grow, which is dangerous for children, I believe. I think that you're supposed to give them the basics, but then allow them to sort of like formulate their own and explore and learn. Do you know what I mean? Get burnt and know where you stand and where not to go, for instance. So,
of course.
Yeah, so it's amazing that you've had that. I've had something similar as well in my household where I was enabled to flourish.
Yeah.
Go about my business, yeah.
And I think that speaks testament to how powerful having family, friends, girlfriend, boyfriends around you who support that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because at the end of the day, you've got to make your own bed. Literally, you've got to come home. And if your family don't support that, if your loved ones don't support that, it makes it difficult. Yeah. So that was number one. Number two, I'm a huge advocate that books are mentors.
Yeah.
You know, books literally have the mistakes that I don't need to make.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett once said that learning from your own mistakes is good, but there's no rule that you can't learn from other people's. And that really hit home with me. So from that moment, I started reading books. So first advice, well, not advice, my experience was my family. Number two was books, learning from my books. And number three is mentors. You know, even yourself, I'm going to pick your brain about, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu after this.
Yeah.
Is I know you've been through stuff that I don't have to necessarily go through. So I'm going to ask you, and it's a great quote from Larry King, the great interviewer. Yeah. I think he's still going as well.
He's still better, yeah. I've seen a few bits online. So
yeah,
he's still
don't know who Larry King is. He's about 110.
He's been 110 for about 110 years.
Yeah, exactly. Man doesn't age.
Yeah.
And he said, it's always better to have a good question than it is to have a good answer. Because 100%. I never learned anything whilst I was talking.
Yeah.
I was like, oof. And I think
it hits home.
What you're doing right now, man.
This is my free education.
Yeah.
I'm basically getting consultations for free right now if I'm having to pay for it.
For sure.
But I mean, that's what the podcast serves to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I've mentioned it plenty of times. I've always struggled to learn the conventional way. But when I sit down with someone directly and I'm listening to their story, I'm able to learn from their experiences and their lessons. It's the value I'm getting is out of this world. So I feel like I'm getting a second degree now since I started this podcast, and it's a degree that's more valuable than the first degree that I got, because the first one I haven't used it for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whilst the second one I'm learning valuable life lessons, I'm learning from other people's mistakes, and that's why the range of people I interview, or not even interview, I have a conversation with is vast. Like old, young, business, politics, like educational stuff. So it's expanding my mind. So it's definitely fantastic, and it's serving like my second form of mentorship now I'm going into. So yeah.
And that's the key word. And I think you'll hear that as you listen to more podcasts. If you look into this field of entrepreneurship, which I'm sure you have by the sounds of things, and anyone listening, is you're going to constantly hear mentors. Not saying you have to pay for them, because trust me, a lot of business coaches, I did quotation marks there, business coaches out there. I definitely will never be one, because at the end of the day, it's the individual. I can tell you, bro, how to start a speed. I can tell everyone how to start a speed reading memory. I just did. Told you. Go online, type in speed. You don't have to learn from my course. Learn how to speed read a memory train, or how to improve your memory, and then go teach other people.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds so easy, Jordan. Yeah, it does.
But how many people are actually going to put in that work, though?
Yeah. And we were talking about, you know, why am I killing it in my niche? And there's so many things that work in my favor that people listening won't. Number one is I love talking. Yeah, I'd like to think I'm a good orator.
Yeah, you definitely are, yeah.
And so you might know more about the eyes and the brains than I do. I don't care. I can communicate the idea better. And not just that, to different audiences.
Yeah.
You know, I understand when I go into a London school, we'll just, you know, use that to stereotype. I'll show my tattoos on my arms. I will swear, I will use humour. But then when I'm in a corporate setting, that's why we have long sleeves as our uniform, I cover my tattoos there. You know, and I do speak more articulate.
Yeah. And I think something that most people tend to assume...
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's definitely not. You've got
to.
What you just mentioned there is actually great, because something that I find with a lot of... when I speak to a lot of young black boys, for instance, they always under the assumption that the colour always works against them. But I'm like, no, you can twist it up. You can switch it. It can work for you. Do you know what I mean? It works for you greatly. So you just mentioned going into a London school now and show your tats. They're going to be like, oh, cool. This brother here looks like us. He's cool. He's whatever. But then you can then switch up and go into the corporate setting, and because you have a skill set which is valuable to them, you can work both sides of the field. Whilst for instance, if let's say you used to get a white dude who would fit perfectly in the white corporate setting, if he goes into an inner city London school with a super posh voice, no one's gonna take heed to anything he's saying. Because I went to a secondary school in East London. It was like a hardcore boys' school, and if we was to have someone come in a suit and tie and not looking like us to try and tell us what to do, we'd be like, yo, no one's listening to this. Like, I'm not on it. But for instance, if I was younger and like, let's say a you came and spoke to us, we'd be like, okay, let's listen to what my man has to say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's that mindset. I
appreciate that as well, man.
Definitely. And it's that mindset that we need to have more of, that sometimes what you think it goes against you, you can use it for your own game. Do you know what I mean?
Telling me.
You learn the game and you have a skill set and something to deliver to people. So.
Yeah. You know, before this, can I say the B word? Can I announce that yet?
No,
I can't announce it yet. Well, I'm announce my news. I'm announce my news. Okay?
Yeah, good.
And this has no connection either to Francis, but the BBC approached me, right? And we'll talk more after this.
Yeah, definitely.
And this all came from a free talk. And long story short, I'll be testing to see if I'll be presenting my own documentary on memory.
Oh, sick.
But before that, I'll be doing like 5 tips on memory, how to improve it. A short online piece that will determine if I do have my own series. I look up to those that present their own series.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to another presenter at the BBC whilst I was at the audition. And he said to me, because he does Flog It.
Okay.
It's called Paul Martin.
Yeah.
Audience probably don't know who he is. You don't need to know who he is. I'm sorry, Paul, if you're watching. But he does Flog It. Your mum probably watches it. Your auntie probably watches it.
One of them type of shows.
Yeah. And he said to me, Jordan, once you get your piece, pitch it as much as you can. He said, because they're going to love you, TV, because you're good looking, you're of colour, you're young, but you're not too young. But you also can't tell your age by looking at you.
Yeah.
He said you speak incredibly. They're gonna love you. So they're looking for young black men. They're looking for more Reggie Yates, right?
I can vouch to that because from my own story as well, which I can't announce this yet, but definitely.
So at times, I know it sounds bad, but it works in my favor. If I was a white, well-spoken man with no troubled backstory, would I be as successful as I am now? Probably not. I'd probably have to go into a different field and navigate it differently.
Yeah.
But, you know, my TED Talk, and I want to do a video on this, why has it reached 1 million views?
Yeah.
You know, I'd be dumb to say it wasn't because that sounds bad. It sounds like I'm a narcissist, but I'm good looking.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. We trust and we watch good looking people. Love Island.
Yeah.
Reggie Yates is good looking.
Yeah.
You know, he's presenting these sometimes dull, potentially dull areas. Exciting to us because he's going to some exciting places. But, you know, when we really distill it, you know, there's a lot of genetic things and
100%.
your skin color can really work for you.
100%.
Where you think it might work against you.
That's a real source of motivation right there to
Yeah.
a lot of young black kids in particular who think that they can't get somewhere based on their skin color.
I say we've got an advantage. You know what I feel bad for?
Yeah.
I feel like being a white man is as tough as it is than ever.
Christian man is probably
tougher than anything now.
In the worst state, in the current state of political ideology. So I definitely get that. Yeah. So
you know, and
the ball is in your court. But what would your advice be to these young kids? Like, let's say you have to give them 2 or 3 pieces of advice. So we're talking to like a young individual who need to get into the business world. How would you advise them?
Okay, I'm gonna give my little brain some time to think about the second answer.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But the first answer, which I know, and I usually give it 9 times out of 10, but I want to do something different for you, bro, is find someone who's got the results you have, and ask how the hell they did it.
100%.
Like, I know, once again, it sounds so obvious, but if you don't ask, you don't get. And common sense isn't common practice. If you want to start your own podcast and someone wants to DM you, I don't want to vouch on your behalf. I'm pretty damn sure you'd get back to them eventually.
100%.
And you would tell them, probably, I'm a huge believer in 5-minute favors.
Yeah.
In the sense, I will do many things for people, but not if it's more than really 5 minutes. So if someone asks, how do I start a podcast? I'm sure you'd give them like the crash course on how to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, get this equipment, don't do that, blah.
I'm doing it now. There's someone who currently sort of like giving that information. So he just asked me and I was like, yeah, cool. I'll send you the name of all the links for the equipment. I'll let you know how to set up, how and by the process.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, definitely willing to share that. And it's actually interesting you said the 5-minute thing as well, because I recently had a podcast with a great guy called Alfie, being Alfie. He's a super interesting investor, and his story is incredible. And he always says he offers anyone and anything 5 minutes. If you give him a shout, he will definitely get back to you.
There you go.
Because not only are you giving, but you're potentially setting yourself up to receive down the line. And you're not doing it to receive, but it kind of works both ways. Because you don't know who you're in contact with, you don't know who you're giving a leg up to, and it could potentially work both ways down the line. So, yeah, it definitely does work to your benefit as well, to give to people, teach others, and also offer your value to them. Yeah. So that would be your first one.
Yeah, and it's really annoying because you just reminded me of something that I believe in, which is doing the right thing is always the right thing. Yeah. I think it goes hand in hand with what I'm about to say, but the first one is definitely find someone, fly as close to the sun as possible. If you know the story about Icarus, the Greek mythology, the guy who flew close to the sun with his feathered wings.
And then he burned.
Fuck that guy. Be Icarus. Fly as close to the sun being the guy you want to, or the woman you really want to aspire to be. Yeah. I can't stress how many times I've messaged Reggie Yates. He's already invited me to a book launch we've met. I message him pretty much every other week to get on his podcast. Yeah. I feel like he'll cave eventually.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Okay, but I'm not asking him how he became a presenter. I'm asking him to come on this show. But go as close to the sun as possible and ask. We live in an era now where you can connect with anyone. Yeah. My second bit of advice would be...
But one more thing, just to touch on that, is
go on.
when you do connect with people, like don't. So rejection is going to happen. It's inevitable, and sometimes there might be delays in responses. Yeah. So it's not something that you should take to heart as you failed because you're not able to reach that person. Yeah. Because if it was up to me, like everyone that I contacted to come onto my podcast, whenever they've turned me down, like I didn't let it burden me. I didn't let it put me down. Or I didn't let it stop my stride. Yeah. So you got to remember that sometimes these individuals, they might be busy, they might got stuff going on, but that doesn't mean you should stop. And 2, you shouldn't let it get to you to the point where it stops your dream, or stops your journey to try and achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So,
definitely easier said than done. I'm criticizing myself there because I just said to everyone, hey, just reach out to Reggie Yates. But you've just hit them with the hard truth, which is Reggie Yates ain't gonna get back to you. Yeah. Believe it or not.
He's probably got. I
know he's got girls in his DMs, but I'm not important to Reggie. And I look like you, and you don't want me stealing your thunder. I'm like, come on, Reggie.
Get free.
But what I think, some practical advice, if that's cool, we give them, is offer to work for free. Yeah. Offer to help them. You might not know how. Literally, you can use this line, and I won't be mad at you. Say, hey, Jordan, love what you're doing. Would love to help you. Yeah. Leave it so open, and we talk about how can you sell a product without getting money. How can you help someone without knowing how you're going to help them? Don't worry about that. Let me get back to you and be like, actually I'm looking for someone to help me with getting more speaking gigs. Perfect. Now you can tailor your response with some relevance to helping me, right? Instead of approaching me like, hey Jordan, I do this, I've looked at your Instagram, you got shit engagement, which I get, and you can help, I can help you get better engagement. I'm not interested. So I hope between our advice, we've married that up quite well.
Definitely.
Reach out to people with results you have. Understand there'll be rejection. How can you reduce that? Offer help, offer to work for free. Because not many people say that.
And then have something to give as well, because there's people that are sitting in their house, the brutal honest truth about it is that they've got nothing to offer, but they just want to get in touch with someone. So for instance, you want to get in touch with Reggie Yates, you've got something to offer. You've got a skill set, you've got a business that's already up and running, and you've got maybe other fields and avenues that you want to get into. So you're not coming to the table empty-handed. You're not turning up to the drink up with no bottle in your hand.
Reggie, you heard this loud.
Heard it loud and clear. You're not turning up to the drink up with no bottle in your hand. There's people at home, they want to do something, they don't know what they want to do, but they're seeing people on TV and they're trying to get in touch with them without offering. So sometimes hone in and develop yourself or a skill set that you have, and then have something to offer. And if you do have something to offer, then go for it. You know what I mean? So that's of vital importance as well, I believe.
And it comes to my second point. It's almost like we scripted this.
It's mad. And this is funny enough because we've never met before. This is our first time meeting. So.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, this is the best podcast I've done so far.
Oh, sick.
For real. I mean, you can pay me later on. Oh shit, are we still recording?
Yeah.
The final bit of advice to lead on from what you're saying is understand, we come back to self-awareness to that degree, that when you're starting out, it is okay to work a full-time job.
Yeah, 100%.
And to work on your side hustle. And I know this advice may only apply to 50% of the audience who want to start their own business, maybe less in sports. But the idea is, let's say you work a 9 to 5. You wake up at 8, you get home at 6, which I don't think I'm too far off from most people's schedule. Okay?
We're in London getting with all the delays and traffic getting home at 6:37.
Okay, let's go 6:30 then.
Yeah.
So now I'm really interested when people say, I don't have time to start my own business, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. Because, believe it, I'm sure you're hella busy, I'm hella busy, we still find time. From 6:30 to midnight, I'm really interested in what people are doing between those. But that's okay, if you want to watch Love Island, that's fine. My mum watches every day, I wish I could keep up. That's fine, but don't complain about your situation.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I wish I had a girlfriend. Oh man, I wish I was back at martial arts. Oh man, I wish I had a business. Watch Love Island, don't complain.
Yeah.
To come on to the point, between 6:30 and midnight, okay, 6:30 to 11:30 at night, you've got 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's like another working day.
100%.
Like, if you want something, you'll find a way. We've all done that. You know, you're never too busy. You always find time for the important people.
Yeah.
So my advice is, please, don't drop out of uni. Don't do what all these other entrepreneurs do. The success stories.
Where there's only like 6 of them.
They
became billionaires from
out of the millions that drop out.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to change the narrative that I'm someone who went to uni. I took the 2 years as a test bed because we get student loan. We're rich for no reason, right? And we never pay that back because I'm never paying myself a salary over 21 grand. I don't care if the government's listening. So I'm never paying my student loan back because it gets wiped off for like 24 years.
Yeah.
Beyond how to beat the system. That's another podcast. Is whilst I was at uni, it gave me the test bed. And so when I came out, it was steady. So what I'm saying is work your full-time job, then work on your side hustle in the evening, and then quit your full-time job when your side hustle is making the same or enough money for you to live the lifestyle you live.
Yeah, 100%.
And of course, within that, you have to be self-aware. You have to think, okay, what are my needs? What are my wants? What are my vices? I recently listened to a podcast by Lewis Howe, and he's talking about money vices.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you like spending money on sneakers, but don't then spend money on t-shirts, on jeans. Like, understand what your vice is. Don't apologize, but understand.
You probably need a bit of that as well to keep you motivated. And
100%. Yeah. I've got my own vices.
What's your vices?
Legal ones. I'm joking. That's a joke.
You can talk about your illegal ones.
That's a big JK there.
Expose yourself loud.
I love that. So my vices, full stop.
Legal
okay?
vices, let's get this clear. We'll talk about the illegal ones after.
My vices, period, martial arts. Yeah. I don't care if I've got to pay a £55 membership to join a business jiu-jitsu.
That's like half the price I'm paying.
Oh my, there you go.
I'm not going to mention my club, but some of them are like £90 a month
100%.
and stuff. Yeah.
But then believe it or not, you look at my shoe collection, probably got 4 different types of shoes.
Yeah.
Talking to an entrepreneur here who has to go to different venues. I have 2 watches. I probably lost one, ironically. But I spend hundreds in my health, in my wealth. I spend more money in getting my time back. E.g., I'd rather pay for a train or bus than to drive. Yeah. Because I can work.
That's definitely,
Whilst when I'm driving, I can't work. And at the end of the day, that's one thing we can't get back. So I've now made enough money where I can get my time back.
That's super interesting you said that because, I mean, when I used to work in the city a lot, when I was like taking train, I used to find myself reading so much more than I do now. And when I'm driving, I don't have the. Well, you can't read. You can't really read and drive at the same time. So
Let's Do Human podcast.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. So it actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that having those. I mean, using public transport instead of driving. Yeah. You're buying back some of your time in a sense to work.
Yeah. I do love saving money, so if I can.
Yeah. Living in London, you don't necessarily really have to drive. But the only reason I drive is because I live in Essex. So coming into London for various things and having to carry my equipment around as well. I can imagine. I need to drive now. Yeah. But one thing I'll add to, is that in terms of the advice, is there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
I mean, we could talk further, but I think those 2 main points, just so people remember, so they can actively review, is number 1, fly close to the sun, find someone with the results you want.
100%.
And ask them. And figure out a way how to get leverage. And number 2 is, how would we summarize that? Is work on your side hustle.
Yeah.
Now. Like now, it's a Sunday. Get going.
No better time than now to start.
Yeah, like you're never going to be ready. I do a lot of school talks about that. I was never ready to get into a relationship. I was never ready to start martial arts. You're never going to be ready in a fight, in a street fight.
Definitely not.
And I think you've probably had this advice. You're either going to be underprepared or over-prepared.
Yeah.
I know which one I want to be.
Yeah.
I know which one. I want to have the choice that I can kill a human, then he kill me and my family.
100%.
I'd rather have the control to allow us both to walk home.
Yeah, and it's interesting that
you know what I mean?
having that skill set and knowing that you're able to kill a human. Well, obviously we're not advocating for killing, but knowing that you're able to defend yourself. And use brute force if needed. It's really empowering, and it actually sometimes prevents you from even getting to those predicaments. Because whenever I tell people I do martial arts, they're like, "Oh, you're out here kicking ass," and I'm like, "No, I've never had a street fight."
I don't think I've had a street fight since I've done martial arts.
Yeah, you don't. That's the thing, because you're so calm about it, and you're so humble about the situation, and even your mannerism and your tone.
I've stopped them.
Yeah,
but I haven't joined in and you kick the guy on the ground. Or...
Yeah, no, because it definitely puts you in a position where you're so comfortable and confident in yourself, unless obviously they pull out a massive machete or gun.
Yeah,
but you're able to diffuse situations instead of like, do you know what I mean, infusing them. But there's one more thing I'd like to add to the advice that you're giving, and that is delayed gratification, because I think the society that we live in now, that is so important, because we're seeing so much flashy things in front of us. Like if you go on social media right now, everyone's a millionaire. So it's a scary sight for
I'd say vet who you're following. You know, if you look at my followers, John Harry, you don't have to follow me, but live in proof. I put follow about 115 people.
You, and all your information is going to be down in the bio anyway. So
I appreciate it, man.
They should follow you and check out your work.
Another little thing, if you message me and say you came from this podcast, I will give you free access to one of my courses. I haven't even done that to you, man.
That's it. Appreciate
that. So I promise you that I will give that to you. I mean,
I'm going to hold you for that, yeah.
But I mean that because I'm not going to be a millionaire off selling online courses.
Amazing.
But yeah, vet who you follow. I follow about 100 people. And I'll drop people if their content starts not lining up with what I want to see.
Yeah.
Because you're so right.
That's true. Because it actually controls you emotionally as well. The people you follow, who you listen to, they control you, and you don't know it. Sometimes you think that you've got autonomy and you can vet them internally. But if you're consuming all of this type of stuff, you're going to be controlled by those individuals, whether it be their political views or their ideas on life and stuff like that. So it's truly important that you vet who you're following on social media, because everyone's on social media now 24/7. So yeah, and delayed gratification, as I mentioned before, because on social media there's so many shiny things out there that you want quick access, but only so you're able to acquire more shiny things. But sometimes if you're trying to build a business or establish a product or a services or whatever, you got to learn how to control yourself from overspending until you reach the point where you can do whatever it is that you want to be able to do in terms of like monetary wise. So yeah, that's another part I'd like to add in there. But before we head off, we're definitely going to chat again. 100%. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think we've got so much more to say. But I wanted to just sort of like lay the foundations and at least develop some sort of like rapport and relationship and get to understand each other. But is there anything that you got coming up that you like the people to know about?
I'm currently building a public speaking course.
Sick.
I generally believe, and there's studies out there, that public speaking is the second most feared thing.
Yeah.
Take a guess what the number one is.
I don't know, heights.
Why does everyone? I mean, it's logical. It's logical.
Yeah, because that's what we're born with, in a height.
What's the one thing we don't want taken away from us?
What, sight?
I mean, that's got to be up there too.
So public speaking.
What's worse than losing our sight? At least you're still alive.
Yeah.
Deaf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I love doing that. But I'd love to know the psychology behind that. You know, why do people jump to heights as their number one fear, but they don't think about death?
That's true.
But we're not going to get into that now. I don't know why. Yeah. But yeah, so public speaking, I'm sure some people would rather die before giving a public talk.
I mean, university, college times, I would have come up with any excuse not to speak in public. Any excuse. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't have the confidence to, because I just thought my accent sounded weird being in East London. I just didn't think I sounded proper enough. Do you know what I mean? Until I reached the point where I felt, I'm cool being me. I'm free with myself.
Your authentic self.
Yeah, and I'm happy with who I am. I got that innately built confidence now that's come out. So I'm like, whatever. It doesn't matter how I sound. As long as I'm able to get my point across some way, somehow, I'll do it. But yeah, public speaking is one hell of a scary sport. Yeah.
So, we talk about creating something before it's sold. And, and I'm a huge believer in practicing what you preach.
Yeah.
So right now, my girlfriend, she's my speaking agent. So she deals with all the inquiries. We're now doubling down on that because before I create a course, and the course is going to be clearly titled on how to get a paid speaking gig.
Oh, okay.
So we're not just going to teach you how to improve your ability to conversate and speak on stage, but how can you actually monetize that? Because there's going to be people who are currently speaking, maybe they're listening now, maybe yourself, and they're not getting paid. Currently people that are speaking and getting paid, but want more gigs. And there's currently people who are petrified of speaking and just want to be able to deliver to their colleagues.
Yeah.
And the course is going to be 3 months. It's going to be live coaching with me each week. It's going to be intense. And I can't give away too much because we're still in the process of figuring it all out.
When the details come, I'm definitely going to push it on my socials.
But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that. And I love the process because I'm having to learn.
Yeah.
I'm having to refine my craft.
I'm loving the process at the moment. And there was a great quote by one of my boys who I recorded a podcast recently. He said he was talking about how he wants to change the narrative about the process because everyone always wants to see the end product without like appreciating the process. And his quote goes along the lines of he wants. I'm always posting it now. I'm probably going to end up paraphrasing and I get it wrong. But he said,
I said, just don't butcher it.
Yeah, he said. He said hard work. He said he wants hard work to be so attractive that it's fucking sexy. That's his quote. That's the tagline that he's going with right now. It's being Alfie. So he's constantly pushing it now that the narrative should be the process and the hard work that's put into establishing or achieving what it is that you're trying to achieve. Because most of the time we're not sharing the process. No. So he's really documenting his journey right now. Good. He's someone that's been all the way up there, went down, and now has come back again. So the process should be enjoyed. You should see all your struggles as part of the process, part of the learning curve. Yeah. And I'm able to now reflect on some of the L's I've taken along the way in life.
Hey, you either win or you learn.
Yeah.
You either win or you learn.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? The L's for learning. So it's like, wow, okay, now I know not to step into that fire again because I'm going to get burned. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you better learn how to navigate. So yeah, it's amazing. So definitely people should enjoy the process and push forward because, eventually we'll get there. Yeah. But Jordan, anything else that you want to share or good?
I say stop listening to podcasts and create your side hustle. I'm joking.
No, definitely. If you've got work to do, listen to it in your earpiece. But get your workouts done. But Jordan, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today. Let's Do Humans podcast. Yeah. And we're definitely going to catch up again. I want everyone to go and check out your socials, check out the great work that you're doing, and also the free courses that you're giving out to all the listeners who came through via the podcast as well. But we'll definitely catch up again, bro. But it's been a pleasure. Yeah.
I love what you're doing as well.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
And if there's any way I can help, this is in fact what I preach. Let me know.
Definitely. We'll be shy at you. Appreciate that. Boom. That was sick, bro.
Absolute pleasure. I feel like we could have kept talking for hours.
But I realized it'd be like